Hello, my name is Frank Lee Stotch. I want to discuss today Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, its whole lead up because it is 2 months away, and why I'm not exactly excited to see it, and why it's going to be hard to be excited to see it. Now, I don't want to detract people from seeing this movie just because. Look, I have the Batman shirt on. I'm also a fan of Zack Snyder's Man of Steel, believe it or not. But that's kind of why I don't want Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, and why I think a lot of people might be disappointed. And just kind of as a warning, just to look in the history of movie build-ups, this has kind of been one of the rockier build-ups, and clearly Warner Brothers is trying to capitalize a lot of their imagery from the DC comic universe, a lot of the ideas, but kind of mesh them together in a more generic, simple story that really doesn't give the characters that, you know, people love from superheroes, doesn't really give them justice. Let's start with the title. For example, Batman v Superman. The whole fight, the big reason for that fight, the reason that fight exists in so many minds is A, the fact that they're the two most iconic superheroes, and of course everyone wants to see the two best guys in the world fight, and B, The Dark Knight Returns. In that story, well, spoiler alert, and you might want to zoom up by 30 seconds to a minute after this point in the video, but The Dark Knight Returns begins with an older Batman, like Ben Affleck in Batman v Superman, who is retired but has to come back because the gang warfare has just gotten crazy and out of hand, and so have a lot of things. And until the government can come along, Batman kind of takes hold of Gotham, and the president, who has kind of control over Superman at the time, um, Frank Miller tries to make a commentary about Superman and the whole Americana thing, and while I think it is a little overboard, I still get his point, especially from the vantage point of a Batman fan. But Superman is sent to kind of put him down because he's getting out of whack, and that's what the president thinks anyway. And Superman says, "Look, I don't want them to call me, but if they do, I'm not stopping." And we see that fight, and that fight is very poetic. That fight represents the characters in such a way that's compelling, and the fight is not just guys throwing fists at each other. It's not two angry people. It's the Batman and Superman who are in the Justice League together. It's the Batman and Superman who have gone their separate ways, have barely talked, and then you feel that you feel every blow, you feel every point in that fight, and it's so much more than just a big boxing match that tears apart a city. Which is why it looks like Batman v Superman is a boxing fight tearing apart a city. The thing is with this Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, it's such a long time. I'm just going to call it Dawn of Justice because at this point I think that's what the movie is. They're hyping up and they're using promotional material specifically about the fight, hyping up the fight as the most important thing and kind of Lex as the secondary point. At least that's public perception, and the trailer does reinforce that, but people are thinking what they want to think, and there's a reason. WB kind of wants you to think a certain way going into a movie. And that's why it's so frustrating. Because personally, there's not enough evidence for me to believe the Batman v Superman angle doesn't hold for over an hour and a half. Or at least as a storytelling point, it shouldn't. Because Superman doesn't like vigilante justice. Batman's really mad that, again, spoiler alert, but Zack Snyder's Man of Steel, he more or less destroys the city. But then again, it's in the trailer, so if you're paying attention, you should know that. So, Man of Steel, Superman destroys the city, and Bruce Wayne had a office there, and so it feels personal to him, and so that's the whole tension. Batman doesn't like how out of control he is, and Superman doesn't like vigilante justice. So they have the base elements of this fight, because that's what kind of spawned the tension between Superman and Batman to begin with. But that tension kind of expands and evolves over the years in Dark Knight Returns. And I know they're not telling the story of Dark Knight Returns, but I'm just reminding you that one great instance, the first great instance, the instance that they're intentionally calling to with the Batman armor and Superman just being angry and willing to take this guy, Batman, down. That's what they're calling to. But they're not telling the same story. They're telling a more basic version. For example, Superman in Man of Steel, he's kind of introduced as having a lot of anger issues as a character. I believe the Man of Steel as we see him is not the Man of Steel, the Superman that we see later. He has all the powers, he has all the ideas, but he doesn't have the whole package together. And that's what these movies are kind of be about. That's the reason Man of Steel 2 is so far out there, is because eventually he does kind of own the cape. He owns the big S on his chest. There's a reason people will call him Superman. He needs to prove why he's more than just powers. He needs to prove what an idea he is, which is why they need to eventually go beyond that path. But in this movie, he's kind of still dealing with that. One of the lines is, "If I wanted it, you'd be dead already." Now, we don't know if this is to Batman's face or whatever after a big blow or something, but and also as a trailer, they don't owe you anything. Warner Brothers can say, "Oh, none of the footage you saw is in the movie," and they would be that's totally fine with them. There would be a big backlash, and a lot of people would be happy about the movie, but again, they don't owe anybody. They don't have that responsibility. So again, let's say if that line is in the movie, that's the kind of Superman we're getting, as opposed to a logical Superman who kind of is looking at this from a point of view that is well-rounded and makes sense and kind of understood Bruce Wayne's point, Batman's point. So we're given this story, and it's kind of really nothing. It's just two people mad at each other. It's a boxing match, and that can't carry a whole movie. And the whole Lex Luthor angle, Wonder Woman being in there, as along with plenty of other characters, Zod being resurrected into Doomsday. We don't even know that's the official name, and honestly, I'm not that bothered, except for what he looks like, but I'm not bothered by them killing off or using Doomsday now, because honestly, he only exists to beat up Superman. So, they use him as they will. But, this is Dawn of Justice. I wholeheartedly believe that. The fight between Batman v Superman, which clearly has political elements because there is a court hearing. Like, that's one of the more intriguing parts. Like, I'm more intrigued, potentially, in the going-ons and the beliefs between certain characters. Lex Luthor lobbying against this superhero, because clearly he's against him, and he kind of has legitimate points, and as Lex always kind of did, but the idea is that Superman morally is more right. But even though, and that's the thing, Superman has not proved that yet. And if they kind of play this, seesaw game where Superman is like, "Oh, I'll kill you in one line, and then say I represent hope and justice and fair court and morals in America in another," then we have problems. But and that's kind of actually my point, though. There are these problems that they're trying to throw so much at us that it's not a lot that's going to be able to be digested. I'm just not prepared to see this movie in theaters, not because I don't want to love it. I want to love it. I want to have a foot in my mouth come March. I want to be told that it's worth all the money in the world to see. But given Warner Brothers' history, given what they wanted to do, and given Zack Snyder's film work, I just don't see it. This is a Justice League prequel, and honestly might be better because it has more elements to it. But they might be just jumping the gun because there is that other company that also has a versus movie this summer, and they were slated for the same day. And Batman v Superman decided to go a little bit earlier because guess what? When you have no competition, you make more money. You don't have to risk losing to the other guy who might just be doing it better. They have the newer things. Their heroes are arguably copies off of yours, but they might be doing it better. I'll argue they're doing it better. I want Warner Brothers to do it better because there are these different characters. There are differences. There's a reason there are the two icons. I wish Warner Brothers wanted to remind us that. But they instead want to capitalize on these franchises, on this whole creating a universe thing now because they know they won't later. I really wanted to see Batman v Superman. I wish it's good. I hope it's good. But as of right now, and all the reasons, all the promotion material given to us, I don't see a reason to. I wish and I hope they change my mind. My name is Frank Lee Stotch. Thank you for watching.